Good morning, guys. So today's video is going to be about nutrition. Over the last sort of like 7 to 10 days, I think, was it last Thursday, I had a good meeting with the performance nutritionist at OneTrack, Justin, and we had a really great chat about how to optimize my training and my performance come race day. So this is week 6. I think I have 4 more long runs before my marathon. So essentially we've got 4 opportunities to sort of practice what I'm going to be doing on race day, how I'm going to pace it and gradually sort of build race day confidence, really. I mean, being my first marathon, I don't really know what to expect on race day. So now what I'm doing is I'm treating every Sunday like it's a marathon day. So what am I going to do before the race? How am I going to fuel during it so that we can sort of see what works, you know, because everything when it comes to nutrition is to some degree an experiment. You know, how do we tolerate carbohydrates both during the runs and away from it? And Justin basically gave me some things to kind of work on over the last sort of 7 days, which I've been sort of implementing. Hasn't been easy because again, we're all creatures of habit. So what I was doing previously, I've had to adjust slightly, and the main thing has been just getting more carbohydrates in. You know, the bandwidth that Justin's sort of giving me for a sort of daily carbohydrate consumption is 5 to 8 grams of carbohydrates per kilo of body weight. So for me, at 75 kilograms, 5 grams equals 375 grams of carbohydrates, and 8 grams is 600 grams of carbohydrates. So the way I kind of have been doing that over the last 10 days is I've just been trying to hit 400 to 450 grams of carbohydrates per day and just trying to figure out what that is in terms of daily food consumption. Now, I've been doing that now for over a week and I definitely feel better. I feel like I'm sleeping better. I feel like I'm recovering after the runs a little bit better. Again, a little bit subjective, but it's something I'm sort of feeling. And my goal for today's video is to kind of take you through that. You know, how am I fueling the long run that I've got today? What am I eating around? So it's a little bit of a daily, what I eat on a day-to-day basis, just to kind of give you guys a bit of an overview. But this is something that we're going to be practicing over the next sort of 4 weeks and really trying to refine so that I can sort of feel my best and perform my best come marathon day. So hope you enjoyed today's video and let's get rolling. Just about to head out for the run. It's just after 9, so I had some eggs this morning just to sort of satisfy the hunger this morning, get something inside me, and then I had about 75 grams of carbs in that drink that I made up. And then today's race or run strategy that we've got, I've got 5 gels with me, so each one of these are 40 grams. So my goal is 80 grams of carbohydrates per hour. Okay, this is not a recommendation for these gels. These apple ones are absolutely disgusting, but we're gonna have to get them down us because I've bought them now. So I've got 4 of them. That's 8. That is 160 grams of carbs. I've also got this one here, which is 20 grams of carbs, I believe, and 100 milligrams of caffeine. So the run today is 24 kilometers. So that's going to be around about 2 hours and 10 minutes. I think I've worked out roughly per pacing. So my goal today is to go out for the first 10 miles, so 16 kilometers at about a 5:25, 5:27 pace, and then in those last 8 kilometers pick the pace up to around about 5:10 and see how that feels on this fueling. And then as the runs get longer and longer over the weeks, we'll start to play around with that pacing so that hopefully we have a strategy come race day. I mean, there's a lot of logistical things, having to fly over to Thailand, and it's a 3 a.m. start time for the marathon. So we go in with the best intentions and we try and execute, and we see how we feel on the day, and then we learn, we build, and we grow. So that's today's race run strategy. So got 80 grams of carbohydrates per hour of moving, see how I can tolerate that, see how my stomach tolerates it. I'm going to take the caffeine one around about 30 minutes before I reach that 16-kilometer mark, so that it's kind of the caffeine's kicking in as I'm sort of those last 8 kilometers of the run, and see how that feels, and just kind of feedback to Justin how everything's going, and then we can adjust, we can adapt, and we can try each week to improve upon the previous one. So that's that. Let's get into the run.
Phone started jumping, what a day. Swear to God I need it, now I can't afford to wait. I just had a fan hit me up from Kuwait. Told him this would happen and we not a minute late. Seen him down bad, now they tryna hate. Same ones try to hit me for the raise. Got a meal, now they coming with a blaze. Check the numbers, fam, I swear I'm getting paid. I'm a Don just like the Perrier. It's one time when I'm looking at a face. On the low like I'm pushing up the bass. Told him come down and I'll meet him at a gate. Got a check and I bought myself a place. They get some money and they blow it on babe. I don't flex but I'm pushing all the weight. Told them all I swear I got it's what it takes. Phone started jumping, what a day. Swear to God I need it, now I can't afford to wait. I just had a fan hit me up from Kuwait.
Right guys, back from today's run. Run went really well, to be fair. 23 miles in the bank. Goal was one kilometer warm up. And then I had 15 kilometers, I believe, at around about a 5:25, 5:30 pace. And then for the final 7K, I opened up a little bit. I managed to do all 7Ks in sub 5 minutes, which I was pretty happy with, to be fair. So just to give you guys a bit of context as to the plan moving forward, again, this is something that I took from my conversation with Justin, the nutritionist I was sort of mentioning at One Track. Now, what he was sort of saying in our conversations was, and he's a marathon runner and he's run a sub 3 marathon, so I'm looking to learn as much as I can from him, is that the way he breaks up a race is not looking at it as 26.2 miles, but rather looking at it as a 10 miles, and a 10K. And again, it's that you can attack that from a pacing strategy and also from a fueling strategy. So that's something that I'm trying to employ now in terms of my long runs moving forward. It's to start to break it down a little bit. So today, the way I kind of feel that I'm going to pace the marathon moving forward is to set out at that sort of 5:25 pace, which I think is a 3:50 marathon. If I get to 10 miles and feeling good, I can then open up a little bit more, where I'll look to drop it down to maybe 5:10, 5:15, and then essentially set yourself up to what will be open up for a 10K. Now, again, it's every opportunity that you get to, that new pacing strategy is an opportunity to kind of assess the situation. So the way I'm kind of doing this now is, again, as I mentioned beforehand, is thinking about it from a setting up to trying to consume around about 80 grams of carbs for every hour I'm moving. So those gels that I was using, those SIS ones, which are disgusting, as I mentioned, but they get 40 grams of carbs in relatively easily. So I sort of took gel 1 at around about 20 minutes into the run today. So I had 75 grams of carbs before I left, sort of 45 minutes before. 20 minutes into the run, I took my first gel, and then I looked to take a gel every 30 minutes from there on out. So that's at 80 grams of carbs. What I did was it went gel 1 at 20 minutes, gel 2 at 50 minutes, and then at 75 minutes I took my caffeine gel, and then at around about 100 minutes I took my last gel, which then kind of brought me all the way through to the finish line. So stomach felt good, I felt good, I was pretty happy to run those last 7Ks in sub 5 minutes. Yeah, so again, just looking to build now. Every week now, the runs get a little bit longer, and I'm going to try and employ that same strategy. So as the runs get a little bit longer, I'm going to hold that sort of 5:25 pace for a bit longer, and then again sort of look to attack that sort of last 7-8K in and around that sort of 5:15 to 5 minute mark, and just trying to build confidence as to what I'm capable of, because again, marathon distance is still unknown for me. So we're just trying to build that confidence and set up a game plan, so when it comes to the marathon, I know what I'm going to do. I have a plan to execute, and you know, we're looking to tick that off as closely to the game plan as we can, while still being aware that not everything goes to plan. So yeah, we're just trying to set ourselves up for success and trying to get together a fueling strategy as to how I tolerate these gels and how I tolerate the nutrition around the workouts and the runs. so that when marathon day comes, I've practiced, I've prepped, and I know what I've got to do on the day. So that's it. So again, today we're going to take you in to see how I'm now going to go into recovery mode, what I'm going to be eating, and how I get my calories in here on out. Right guys, so that wraps up this video and this day of eating. Again, I'm not sure how useful this video was for you. It's more of a way of sort of sharing with you what I'm kind of learning on this sort of marathon journey, and the sort of nutritional side of things has been something that I've been really kind of interested in, you know, how that makes me feel, how that optimizes my running, etc. So that was my sort of eating today and my sort of workout nutrition, giving you a bit of an insight as to how I fuel and how I'm currently fueling. So today we finished up with 3,484 calories, 167 grams of protein, 554 grams of carbohydrates, and 76 grams of fat. So that is definitely a high calorie, high carb day for me. On days where I only lift or I do shorter runs, I will definitely be down nearer to that 400 gram mark of carbohydrates, with the protein and fats kind of staying the same. So we kind of get a cyclic approach to our carbohydrate intake and our calorie intake. So gives you guys a bit of an overview. If you have any questions, please feel free to chuck them in the comments or hit me up on socials. But until next week, guys, I'll see you then.